What's going on, everyone? What do you want to do this weekend?
You gotta get out of this town!
Where do you want to go?
I'll tell you where. Someplace warm. A place where the beer flows like wine.
Well, I'm not sure there's a place in upstate New York where the beer flows like wine, but I found the next best thing. Earlier this week, I came across a hike outside of Buffalo, New York, and at the end of the trail, there's a waterfall, but not just any waterfall. Underneath the waterfall, there's a fire. Apparently, that fire is eternal. What does that even mean? I don't think it's really eternal. We'll get to that later. I've got a few hours to kill here on Saturday, so we're gonna hop in my car, drive out to Orchard Park, New York, see what this thing is all about. We have arrived at the trailhead located in Chestnut Ridge Park. There are a lot of cars. Odds are good that there's just gonna be a lot of people here. Here we go. All right, not even a couple hundred feet into the trail here, and there is a ton of ice. So I'm gonna stop here and put on my micro spikes before I keep going. I actually ran into a couple people who said they fell a couple times on the way down, so I'm really glad I brought these. So almost right off the bat, the trail leads you into this beautiful little forest here. And the trail itself is marked really clearly with little flames on the trees, so it's really no problem at all to navigate through this trail. All right, so we've made it down into the ravine. Aside from the ice, a very, very easy hike. Distance one way is just over a half mile, so if you're coming here just to see the falls, you can get this done round trip in just over a mile, probably about an hour, hour and a half if you're taking your time. And once you're down here, you start to smell something. It smells a little bit like rotten eggs. And that rotten egg smell is from methane gas seeping through the shale. So millions of years ago, plants and animals died and were covered over in sediment, and the hundreds of millions of years of pressure turns them into methane. And if you find a hole in the shale, some of that gas will escape, and if it's big enough, you can light it. And that's what we're about to see, a flame underneath a waterfall. It's called the Eternal Flame Falls, but the flame sometimes goes out, so people will come by with lighters and relight it, so it's not quite eternal. All right, we have made it to Eternal Flame Falls, and that hole right behind me is where the flame is. So we're gonna try to get a few photos. I thought it'd be cool with the contrast of the flame and the ice and the water. Problem is, the flame is kind of in a little cave, and the water that's flowing right now is on the far side of what would be the composition. So we'll see what we get here. There you have it. Snapped a few photos here. It was interesting trying to get the flame to show up next to the ice and the water. You kind of lose the flame if you zoom out to get most of the falls, but still a really cool thing to see. And I mean, everything that you see right here behind me is totally 100% natural. As far as the gas coming out of the earth, that is all an earth process. None of this is manufactured by man. However, the flame will go out every once in a while. So if you're planning on visiting this fall, you might want to bring a lighter with you just in case it's not lit when you come down here. As far as the hike goes, I was saying this a little bit earlier, very accessible hike. Saw a lot of kids, a lot of pets. There were a few areas where you might need to lift a kid up or carry a pet around a log or something, but otherwise a really nice hike. Beautiful scenes as you walk down through the ravine. It's just a really cool area, and I imagine in the spring there's a lot of frozen waterfalls here right now. But in the springtime, I bet you get a lot of water coming down in the ravine, which is both beautiful and probably treacherous, so you gotta be careful with that. Well, that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.